for today. We can be the leopard, a hip and hunting dog. We can be the leopard, a hip and hunting dog. We can be the leopard, a hip and hunting dog.
Welcome to the Middle Seats Podcast. I am your host, Generation Offended. I am joined by my co-host, TolerTalks, and our newest co-host, Loomar. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, pretty good.
I don't know. Have you looked outside recently? It's like a winter hellscape out there.
Well,
Yeah,
here
well,
in
for,
England, it's just wet.
Oh God, here in the United States, we're getting absolutely hammered. Which, by the way, for the folks that are listening, I do hope you're safe out there and staying warm. As it's pretty hellish in some areas.
Yeah, well, speaking of cold hellscapes, we got a Fallout episode to talk about, and Canada is going to be a big prominent part of this episode. Exciting stuff for all of our Canadian listeners out there. Well, so we're going to get into the new Fallout episode. Are you guys ready to talk about, we are on episode 7 of the second season, and we start off with what's her name? The blonde chick from
Steph.
Vault 33. Steph, yeah. So
Yeah,
Steph's
Steph.
running through the woods. This is obviously some pre-war stuff. So for anyone who doesn't know, in the Fallout lore, Canada is annexed by America, and there's a bit of a Canadian revolt in the lore, and so it looks like Steph may have been a part of that, or she was in some kind of internment camp for some reason, and she was on the run with another woman. We're not told who she was, and Steph is able to.
I think it's her mother.
Yeah, it
because she
seems like
says,
it's her
"I
mom."
raised you as Catholic."
Yeah.
So it sounds like it was, either like her mother or like maybe it's her older sister, something like that.
Yeah, I thought maybe. Yeah, I was actually wondering if it was like a lesbian coupling, but
Well,
it did
that
seem
would
like.
be,
It's modern entertainment.
that'd be a bit
Might
weird.
as well.
But you're right. She did seem kind of like a older, at least sibling or mother figure. The way she's talking about her getting safe and everything, I agree with that. So yeah, Canada gets a shout out for the first time on the show. Big deal. So what do we think of this beginning part, Toller? I know you didn't love the anti-Americanness of this Canadian part of the story here.
Well, like I said in my review, this is a fictional world, and I actually didn't mind the way that the United States was depicted because it was accurate. I mean, in the video I put up the Fallout 1 intro where you literally see members of the United States Marine Corps gunning down a Canadian civilian. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that the U.S. were antagonists in this particular situation. However, I don't like. She makes a comment of they're not humans, they're Americans. They take a direct shot at the United States, a direct shot at Americans. That's fine, but they've skated around saying the word China for the last season and a half. So my biggest issue with it's okay to insult the United States. It's okay to insult Americans in general, but don't you dare mention the word China. I just think it's cowardly.
Yeah, that's a really fair point, actually. Because I agree with you. I think it's in character for these two women to hate Americans. I think it makes a lot of sense coming from where they've been and how Canada is treated within the canon of Fallout. But you're right, the show totally backs away from China. We've complained about that pretty much every episode of this podcast talking about Fallout here.
If you're gonna be be lore accurate and you're gonna stick with the canon, that should be equal strokes for everyone. You should include everyone. So yes, it's lore accurate that the United States is the antagonist in this specific instance, but it's also lore accurate that the Chinese were the antagonist in the conflict and then the start of the Great War. But only one side is taking a shot because Amazon is cowardly and just won't do it.
Yeah, it's funny that they're willing to piss off their American audience, but not the Chinese one. Strange.
Imagine my shock.
Yeah, but we get a strong positive communist view in this show, so maybe it starts to add up. Loomar, what do you think of Steph's storyline in this season or this part of the episode at least?
I was fine with it. It's like you say, we haven't really seen a lot of Canada in the Fallout universe. It was quite interesting to see the annexation of it and how people who rebelled were treated by the United States military. Um, yeah, overall, I thought it was fine. I think I thought the part where the dude's just chilling there and he somehow doesn't hear her crunching up behind him to fucking steal his beans. But I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, overall, I thought it was interesting. We spent so much time, especially with Bethesda games, uh, just kind of rehashing the same kind of stuff. So actually seeing something new that we haven't seen before was, yeah, it was pretty enjoyable. Can't lie.
Yeah, well, as a Canadian, I felt a little, that I think we as Canadians, I can speak for my whole country here, where we like a good shout out. We like a little, hey, we exist, and everyone remembers who we are. And a little national anthem playing was great. However, I really okay. So like you guys said, all of this is fine for the most part. I don't like the lack of China call out there. I agree with you, Toller. But when she's crossing the border, when Steph gets to the border of Canada and the US, again, mind you that Canada is an annexed country,
Hmm.
and she's wearing like a prisoner outfit, this border guard is just like not paying attention to her at all and like letting her cross and then like calls out to hit on her and then she kills him. Like it's like okay, we know that her character is obviously going to try and hide in the United States. She's not going to like openly be Canadian, and that's obvious from what we see
Hmm.
later in the episode. So why is she just walking through the border security check? Why is she not trying to go through any other spot? Like the Canadian American border is massive.
Right.
There's plenty of ways to get across the border. You could swim from one side, like there's certain lakes you could cross by just swimming. There's rivers, like you can there's lots of unguarded parts that would be unsupervised. She doesn't need to go through this specific checkpoint. So, yeah, I
Well,
thought that was really dumb.
Well, that whole situation's kind of dumb. Is that at this point in the Fallout universe, Canadian, I mean, the country's annexed, and Canadians are considered like second class citizens. They're pretty much the lowest of the low at this particular point in the Fallout universe. So the fact that she's just able to walk up, and this guy doesn't say anything, which by the way, it's just one guy, just one dude at this one, just one,
Yeah.
and then it manages to get into the country, and then I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but then is able to go on to get employment at the Lucky 38 and then somehow get employed at Vault Tech. If she's a
Yeah.
Canadian, that's never going to happen. Like that's never going to happen in this universe.
Yeah, well, they do the cheeky like cutaway, right? We're just never gonna get any explanation as to how she got to where she was
Yeah.
in the show, really. Like we do see that she works her way up through it looks like Vegas and she happens upon we're gonna get into that scene later on. It's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
weird where she's the maid and they like she helps out she meets Hank McClane there. But the last thing I want to say about the Canadian, the show rarely makes me laugh, despite it being pretty much a comedy. But it did make me laugh really hard when she's about to get married and he pulls out her fucking her identity card and he's like, she's Canadian. And everyone's like, oh my god, like
The
they're like,
pseudo card.
why? Yeah, it's fucking that made me laugh. Even though I don't know why she would still have her Canadian,
Right.
why
Yeah, that
how
was
she even got
colossally
And,
that.
stupid.
and how did Vault Tech?
Yeah,
How did they like? We're talking about Vault Tech. We're talking about the one of the biggest corporations in the United States, and not only one of the biggest corporations, they're extremely nationalistic. How the fuck did they not know she was Canadian? There's no way they would have
yeah.
hired
Well,
her.
yeah. No, good question. How did she have her Canadian card? Would she? Who handed her that Canadian card, and why did she have it? Like, if she's left in internment camp, you can assume that she had nothing on her
Right.
except for the makeshift knife that she has. So why does she have her Canadian? Why would she keep that?
Yeah, it's just
If you're
weird.
gonna go into hiding in the United States and try to like hide your identity, then why keep anything of reference to that being the fact that you're Canadian?
No idea. We need the rest of the plot to happen. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so after Steph's little flashback there, we cut back to Lucy. She's in the vault with her dad, and she seems to be kind of like, yeah, I don't mind this brainwashing thing. It seems like it's the thing to do. We're gonna get rid of the factions. She wants to get rid of the Legion. She's like, oh, we can stop the Legion with these things. That's her new motivation, apparently. Which felt kind of strange. I didn't think like, I know she's had a run in with the Legion. It seemed to, be a little hiccup for her along the way, but it never really felt like a existential threat. Like the Legion when she met them are fucking like falling apart internally. They're dumbasses who can't even, you know, kill each other even though they're like 5 feet away. Like the two camps are fighting in this like very close proximity. They don't really seem like a large scale threat to anybody. Yet she's willing to go back on all her morals and ethics to apparently take them out now. That's her new goal.
Yeah, I guess it's less to do with the Legion specifically, and more just that kind of mindset where you'll happily slaughter random people just for your own personal gain, kind of thing. He's like, because obviously she sees that guy up on the floor, and she realizes that it was the Legion soldier who was captured, who was like tied up, and now he's being productive and he's being friendly and he's like working with people who he would have like killed an hour ago. So I guess it's maybe she's realizing that it can take the worst people and actually make them kind of useful. Ultimately, I don't think I don't think she would ever go through with it, but I guess she's just seeing a example of why it could be a positive, and it's making her kind of reconsider her worldview. Yeah, to be honest, I didn't mind. I didn't mind that little scene too much. I thought it was kind of funny seeing her try and drive a golf cart as well.
Yeah, I
Just
was
this idea that
gonna.
most modern survivors would have no fucking clue, like how to just do something as basic as drive a car. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's funny.
Yeah, I like that as well. I thought that was a nice little moment between the between Hank and her as well. Like it's a cute, very, it's reminiscent of the old world, even though yeah, she would never like you said, she would never know what a car was really, like or how to drive one. I mean, she would know what a car was, but she never would have experience riding in any motor vehicle. So this would be a whole new experience. But it's very cliche of like the teaching your daughter how to drive her car for
Mhm.
the first time, and they're getting annoyed with each other. That part was actually decently well written. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I
Um,
didn't mind this scene at all. But the more that we're seeing this facility, whatever it is, expanding out, like it's weird because in New Vegas, Vault Tech is they have a presence there, but a lot of their vaults are derelict and abandoned. Vault Tech doesn't have a real big presence in the New Vegas game, which is why you play through the eyes of the courier. But I find it really hard to believe that there's this massive headquarters, not just a headquarters, but like apparently a research facility, and they've got people in there in cryopods, and they have a manufacturing site, and all this other stuff. And it's like, how, like, if this was some random like vault or whatever that he walked into and helped like rebuild, wouldn't care. But the fact that this is a perfectly preserved, pristine facility that even has drivable vehicles. It's like this is something that would have been mentioned in New Vegas at some point, and it isn't, especially being so close to
Yeah,
the strip.
yeah, I mean, you see him at the end of, you see him at the end of season one, and he's looking on the horizon, and Vegas doesn't seem that far. So apparently, this massive facility, which it's not just wide, it's tall as well.
Hmm.
It's just somewhere on like near the flat land near the New Vegas Strip and Freeside. There's just this massive Vault Tech facility that's just incredibly huge, and like no one's ever found it despite how much traffic goes around New Vegas. It's weird.
Yeah, I did my due diligence and did my research in the New Vegas and looked up all the Vault Tech presence. And not a single time could there even be something even like remotely construed to be this headquarters. And it's like, you think you would have found a different way to do this? You would have incorporated something from the game or the lore. No, they just created this massive fucking place and was like, we're just gonna make this canon now. And it's like, oh, okay, like that's more of a nitpick, but I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah, well, I think there's been some pretty annoying stuff going on with Vault Tech in New Vegas. I mean, a smaller thing would be Vault 21. So we
yep,
see in the flashback with Cooper, Vault 21's already a hotel when that was canonically not what happened in New Vegas. Vault 21 was a vault, and
yep,
then uh,
they had to be rescued.
Mr. House evicted all the vault dwellers from Vault 21, and it was only later a girl, I can't remember her name, but takes over the
Sarah.
vault, asks Mr. House, Sarah, yeah,
Yep.
Sarah asked Mr. House if she can turn it into a hotel with only part of the vault in use because Mr. House uses concrete to like fill in the rest of it. Um, so yeah, that is a whole retcon. Like the fact, and I think this is a small thing, and most people will be like, "Oh, don't worry about it." But like to me, this just kind of screams like lack of due diligence. The writers do not give a fuck about what they are creating or
Mm-hmm.
the world that they've inhabited with their show. So like yeah, they're like, "Oh, Vault 21's a hotel in New Vegas," and they didn't even check to see how it became a hotel. It's like it's not a pre-war hotel. Like they didn't even think to look at that. It just fucking screams like they don't fucking know how to do world building. They don't know how to even like do any research on this fucking game. Like any basic fucking player would know that.
Well,
Like these guys haven't even played New Vegas.
well, I've had quite a few commenters, especially detractors that don't like my videos going over the lore, and I keep seeing it. And they're like, "Well, this is a show. Like, just go back and play the games." I don't think you understand that this is canon, which means that whatever happened in the game, should be referred to or called back in the show, and then whatever happens in the show is going to be included in Fallout 5. Todd Howard has already said that. So it's like it's not just some random show. This isn't some interpretation or adaptation or doing this new world and new characters. No, it's directly it's directly in universe. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
I agree
sequel,
with you.
and that's why you can take what's happened in the games and judge it against what's happening in the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not two separate entities. You're totally right. Like most adaptations are separate from the thing that they're adapting. Like Game of Thrones is like the
Last
show
of
is not
Us.
canon to the books. The
Uh-huh.
Last of Us is the show is not canon to the games. But with New Vegas, sorry, with Fallout, which confusingly enough is a RPG with multiple endings, right? And like the player can craft the world that they're playing in. Why would you make that canon to the games? Like why would you make your show canon to a game that every player's game is different? You know
Right.
what I mean? Like there's multiple endings. Why would you out of all the game series in the world, right? Where there's like linear storytelling and there's everyone has the same experience like God of War, The Last of Us, for example, Uncharted, where everyone has the same story beats, everyone experiences the same thing. You could make a show that's a sequel to those games because there's nothing to change. But with this
Right.
game, there's so many different outcomes. Like if I'm an NCR supporter and I played the NCR in this game, I'm gonna be fucking annoyed that the NCR is destroyed in this universe. And then if I played the Legion, I'm gonna be annoyed that the Legion isn't like hasn't taken over New Vegas. And we're gonna get into it next week when we talk more. But we all have watched, or at least some of us have watched this fucking interview with the showrunner and executive producer where they talk about the canonical endings they've decided to try to avoid but also include in there. And the show seems like they're trying to walk this tightrope of both not answering enough questions to confirm any
Mm-hmm.
ending, but also writing in their own ending by creating an outcome because we see what happens to New Vegas.
Well,
So
I had a
Basically, yeah.
commenter put a link in there just out of the conversation. Put a link on my video where it was kind of said in passing as a joke, but I guess you could take it seriously. That I can't remember the name of the guy. I for the life of me. He's in that interview clip that you had, but he says that the Yes Man ending. He said obviously Yes Man is the ending that they went with, and that doesn't make any sense.
no, well, I mean, the most annoying thing is that it doesn't really matter whose ending you went with because they all failed. Like that's how they're avoiding
Yeah.
this. In essence, they're like, Well, we're not going to go with any specific ending, but we're going to make all the endings suck. Yeah, and it does, and I can see why you said like Yes Man is might be the ending because I mean you even see the Securitron laying beside Mr. House's um, dashboard, which is what happens to Yes Man Securitron when you take over the strip.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, like it's just fucking no matter what you've done,
Yeah.
no matter if
I
you're
mean,
a Yes Man supporter or not, it turns out Death Claws take over the strip, and the NCR are fucked and Legion are gone. Like it is like,
well,
it's very
you
frustrating.
got the Yes Man ending, right? And yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about this on social media, including what you said, the Securitron off to the right. And it's like it can't be the Yes Man ending because in that ending, all the factions are ran out of New Vegas, and the NCR are certainly there, and the Legion are certainly there, the cons are certainly there. So it's like that wasn't the Yes Man ending, and then I saw some folks saying the No Gods, No Masters ending as well. And that doesn't make sense because that means House has the platinum chip, which means all the security, all the defenses are now beefed up, but New Vegas got bombed. So that makes the whole platinum chip thing irrelevant. So it's like no matter which way they cut this, they're just sitting in a corner.
Yeah. There's not even a mention of Hoover Dam at all, let alone who won the battle. But you know, it doesn't matter what ending, like I said before, it doesn't really matter what ending that you go with because none of this makes sense. Like New Vegas being completely empty, with no factions being involved, it doesn't make sense for anybody because if the Legion won, right? They would be ruling New Vegas. Freeside would have fucking Legion banners everywhere. It would be covered in Legionaries. If the NCR won, then the NCR would be there. And if Mr. House won, then the Mr. House should be there. And if it was Yes Man, then the NCR should still be there. And so should well again, but it's up to the player. But you know, so should with the NCR are there likely in 3 of the endings, but
Yeah.
not you know what I mean. So like I don't know. It doesn't matter what you go with because none of this makes sense. And the fact that they're like, well, we're not going to canonize any ending because we're just not going to like touch on it too much. But then they show New Vegas in this state that canonizes an ending. It
Yeah,
just we don't know exactly which one, but they all turned out to be shit.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, you're oddly silent
Yeah.
over there, Lumar. Won't you like actually? Yeah, like, what do you think? Are you just pissed off, or are you
Well,
just?
I mean, Generation Offended is pretty much saying everything. They've said they don't want to officially endorse any of the endings, but they use so far they've just used places that are very integral to the Fallout universe. And if you're going to do that, you have to speak about whatever happened in the games. And so far, based on everything we know, the NCR are shit, the Legion are shit, House fucked up somehow, and the Courier and Yes Man fucked up somehow. And the end result is Vegas Strip is shit. And that's kind of just what they've done. It just shat on the like I know they didn't make it, but I expected better from Bethesda to just not shit on the only game storyline that wasn't made by them.
I was about to say, let me interject there and ask both of you guys a question. And I'm being serious here. This isn't no conspiracy or whatever the fuck. Being dead serious. Do you think Todd Howard is purposely sabotaging this story because Bethesda didn't make New Vegas and they're trying to shut down any talk about a New Vegas sequel?
I don't think they've I don't think they've sat there and gone, right, this game we didn't make it, so how can we ruin it? I don't think they've done that, but I think they just get an idea in their head and they just push on through with it, even if it makes no fucking sense. Like a good quest that I always think about when I think of how fucking dumb Bethesda can be is the one in Fallout 4 where you find a ghoul kid in a fridge.
Oh,
A ghoul kid in a
yeah.
fridge that's been sat there for 210 years right next to a busy public road that used to lead into one of the major cities in the Commonwealth before it got wiped out. And absolutely no one ever bothered to check out the fridge, and there's other scrap nearby. There might be some electrical components or something you can salvage. No one bothered. No one heard this kid banging on the fucking fridge for 210 years. And but someone just thought, let's have one where a little kid's being trapped, a little innocent kid's being trapped, and he doesn't know what's gone on and that, and he wants to find his family, but it's the post-war, and you don't know how to explain to this kid that his family's probably dead. And they just did not bother to put the effort in, really. They just had an idea and ran with it. So here they were like, oh, Hank, he goes to New Vegas because New Vegas, besides the big MT, New Vegas has probably got the most technology and it's the most stable place that people will recognize. What should we do? Well, we can't really canonize any of the endings because then we're gonna fucking back ourselves into a corner. Let's just say that everything got fucking destroyed and none of your choices mattered.
Yeah, that's a
Thank you,
really good way to sum
Bethesda.
it up.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. I know, and to add on to that whole child side quest thing, it's really funny because the fucking parents' house is like 5 feet away. It's like
Oh
right there.
yeah,
You
I
can
forgot
see it.
about that. Yeah.
You can, it's like it's so close. Like the fact that they've been wandering around there for 200 years and they're never like, "Oh, what's in this fridge?" And oh, my son. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I brought this actually. I don't know if you remember Toller, but yeah, I brought up the whole Todd Howard conspiracy against
Yeah.
Obsidian like a couple episodes ago. I don't know. It's hard. I'm kind of siding with Lumar here, and yeah, I think they're just stupid. I mean,
Yep.
companies. It's like I don't know if the conspiracy goes so deep as like Todd Howard was like, he's like puppet mastering all of this. I think they're just genuinely retarded. I don't think
Okay.
they care about what they're making. I don't. I think they haven't done their due diligence. I don't think they have done the research on the games. I don't think they really care about what they've stepped on. I think what's probably happened is that Todd Howard and Bethesda have given them some outline of things they're not allowed to do,
Mhm.
right? Like Lumar said, like you can't canonize the ending. So here's the playground you can use. Go fucking wild. And they're showrunners and they're completely separate entities almost. Besides the fact that they're sharing an IP, but Bethesda has a final sign off thing. But this is all quite complex, and I think uh, I think thinking that it's like this conspiracy kind of dumbs it all down. I think that it's like a large range of incompetence across. You know what I mean?
Universal
Like,
stupidity.
uh, yeah. Like it's more like it's like how in The Big Short they explain how the financial crisis happens, and it's not like there's someone behind it all. There's not like a big conspiracy to destroy the U.S. economy. It's just a bunch of people making bad decisions, and it's just happening like at every level. I think this is what's happening with Bethesda and Amazon. Like it's just like Bethesda gave Amazon the rights to create a show. They're like, don't canonize any of the endings, but otherwise, whatever. And then Amazon hires shitty show writers, which they've been known to do. And
Whatever do you mean?
yeah, I mean we all love The Boys here, right? That's a great show.
Oh, that Gen V, man. Excellent.
Gen V, great. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's more where we're at with it. It's just like these people, and again, going back to this interview, or any interview with the showrunners, they clearly just don't care. They don't know what they're talking about, and everything they say is just talking points, right? They're like, "Oh, we love the factions, we love the world, we love how deep everything is. It's so cool." But I
Mhm.
bet they don't know actually anything. I bet if you like were to sit down and be like, "Hey, like, tell me about." Novak, tell me about Prim, tell me about New Vegas. What happened at the second battle of Hoover Dam? What's the overall moral landscape of the Legion? Tell me about what the NCR represent. Like if you were to
Right.
like sit them down and ask them any of these questions, they would just fucking not know.
Right.
And I think going back to that small example of fucking Vault 21 being a pre-war hotel speaks volumes to how stupid these people are and how little they do to research the fucking backstories of the locations they're filming and shit.
I mean, it's always been a part of the games, the tiny details, the computer logs and text logs and little random stuff, laying around. It's always been very important to the games, and it's just not to the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Little details make a big picture.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, not to get too deep in the weeds on the because we're gonna have lots of opportunities to talk about the showrunners and their decisions and the lore coming up here. So let's get back to the story. So we pick up with the Ghoul and Thaddeus and Maximus, and they've wandered into an NCR camp that's been completely abandoned. And turns out there's just a bunch of fucking like so much supplies here. Like it's just completely left. And it's really pissed me off. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but the NCR have power armor, I guess. I don't know why. They shouldn't. There's one set of power armor in the entire NCR that's canonized in the games, and it's really unique. But here it looks like they were building their own, I guess.
I'm not fussed. I'm not too fussed about it. Mainly because we do see in New Vegas that even if they're not fully functional, they did take old power armors and use them as kind of kind of like traditional knight's armor, where it's not really it's not there's no servos or electricity to help power it, but they've kind of stripped it down and turned it into extra armor that's to make them like heavy units. So they've already kind of started to experiment with using power armor in a way. So I'm not particularly fussed about them having power armor. I just think the design is like really fucking stupid that they've just slapped the Ranger helmet basically onto a power armor suit and gone, "Yep, that's what NCR power armor would look like." It's
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I felt like it was just kind of fan baiting a bit. They're like, "Hey, what if we mash up a Ranger armor and and a power armor suit together?" I bet they fucking love that shit.
yeah,
I really don't.
basically.
And as the resident Brotherhood of Steel fanboy, the whole power armor thing, I really don't mind. What I do mind, like what I just love to see, is for some like BOS knight or paladin to come out of nowhere and knock Thaddeus's head completely off, because I am so sick of that fucking character. Like he is
He's hardly a character.
horrible.
He's just an entity that walks around in the show with no personality besides I am okay with everything for some reason. Like
And
he's like my
stupid ass
arm falls
jokes.
off. Yeah, yeah, the arm falling off thing really fucking I rolled my eyes so
He's just
hard.
kind of a butt monkey character, but I don't know. He doesn't get enough sympathy for us to feel sorry that he's a butt monkey. He's just an annoying one who keeps getting punished, and I think most people are fine with that. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
a lot of people.
do you guys care what?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
So a lot of people think he's going to become a centaur, which that goes to show you
Yeah,
how
I was
much
gonna
people don't know
say.
about the lore.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks like he's gonna become a centaur just by the arms falling off and shit. I'm assuming that's what he's gonna be. Yeah, I don't. That's obviously not how they become centaurs,
Now,
but I feel like the show's gonna do that.
centaurs are correct my memory of this. They were directly created with FEV, but aren't they a fusion of multiple people?
yeah, they tend to be. If you look at their
Okay,
player models, they tend to have like the three people's feet on the bottom, and they've got like
okay,
5 tongues and some shit like that. So
all right.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there are variants of them, but yeah, you're right. That's essentially what they are. They're just. I mean, yeah, they have many heads at times. They have many legs. They don't have any arms. That's like the consistency, but like their legs are arms. So, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they made him a centaur. Honestly, that would just be like further degradation of this what remains of his character.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So it makes sense. That's where they're going with it. I think just by how little they respect him. Yeah, I want to talk about Thaddeus a little bit just because I find his character arc really stupid and funny. I mean, I know he's a fucking meaningless character in the show, but so his vibe is that he's grown up in the Brotherhood of Steel. We see that he's like a loyal scribe. No, he's a oh, it's a squire in season one, and then he finds out that Maximus is, tricking the Brotherhood, so he tries to kill Maximus and he leaves him for dead. And then he has the mission of carrying what was it? It was the head back to
Yeah.
the Brotherhood. And then he turns into a ghoul and just drops the Brotherhood altogether. He's like, "Yeah, fuck it, take the head. Like, I've only sacrificed my humanity for this head and and traveled like countless miles, almost died." And he's just like, "Yeah, take the head, it's fine." So then and then and then the next time we see him, he's in the desert hanging out with a bunch of kids, making bottle caps, and he's fine. He's like super happy about his life. He's not at all affected by his bad circumstances. And then he meets up with Maximus again, the guy who's essentially ruined his life. And he's fine with him. He's like, "Yeah, chill, like whatever. I'll help you out," and then goes and tricks the Brotherhood with him. Completely starts the Civil War, does not seem to affect him in the slightest, and now he's just hanging out with Maximus, like with like vague intentions of assisting him through this quest of giving this super important relic to Lucy, who's a dumbass, and so is Maximus, and he's like, "I'm gonna give her this thing that will save the wasteland with unlimited energy." Why would you give it to her?
Well, I mean, why
I don't know. I
why
just
does this exist in the first place in New Vegas? Because the whole prospect of the New Vegas game is control of Hoover Dam, which is control of the largest power source in the area.
Yeah.
You kind of demean Hoover Dam by just saying, "Oh, well, now we just have this cold fusion shit, and it's very important." And it's like, wait a minute. So wait, like was House looking? House was looking for this the whole time, right? You keep talking about cold fusion the entire time. So why did we even do the Hoover Dam thing? We've got cold fusion.
Yeah, that's totally true. Hoover Dam. Yeah, oh man, actually, I didn't even really think about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fucking Hoover Dam means nothing. Wow, another fucking dude. They just fucking slapped the fallen New Vegas across the
Man,
face
I've been
with a
doing my
fucking
research,
shovel every
brother.
5 seconds.
I've been on top
Yeah,
of it.
man, that's
I've
totally
been combating
true.
people all week.
Uh, that's totally
Yeah.
true. They oh, another fucking step into the grave, man. God damn.
I could just imagine how red your face is probably right now, realizing that.
Uh, I'm actually, I'm trying so hard not to like incoherently rant about this show. But it gets
Mhm.
my blood fucking going. But yeah, man, that doesn't make any sense. Like he fucking knew about cold fusion since its inception. He was about to get it.
Mhm.
Yeah, he fucking shows Cooper. He's like, "Oh, once I have cold fusion, I'm fine." And then he's never gone. He looked for the platinum chip for fucking decades. But why not cold fusion? Where were the couriers trying to find cold fusion?
I mean, just as a power source, if cold fusion is this powerful, then like I said, the Hoover Dam doesn't matter. And he's been
Yeah.
No,
looking for it before, during, before the game, apparently, during the game, after. Apparently, cold fusion has been at the height of what everyone has been pursuing, which makes Hoover Dam null and void. So that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah. Basically,
hmm
based on everything that's happened in the show, House was just fighting for Hoover Dam for, I don't know, like shits and giggles, I guess.
He's
yeah,
bored.
yeah.
He's bored, man.
Yeah, basically.
Uh, yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so fucking done with this show, man. It's so
Mhm.
fucking dumb.
I could tell the
All
change in
right.
your voice. You were like, "Shit, I didn't realize that." Now you're just pissed again.
I didn't know. I honestly didn't even think of that. Yeah. Dude, there's so many levels of retardation in this show. It's really hard to sift through the shit. Like it's almost like you have to stop every 3 seconds and be like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense." Blah blah blah. Like, god damn it. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna recover from that emotionally at some point. But so we we get back to Cooper Howard in the flashback. He's hanging out with his wife. And this is the scene we were talking about earlier with I can't fuck what's her name, the blonde chick. I can never remember.
Steph.
Who gives a shit about this chick?
Steph.
Steph. So Steph is the maid, and he gives her some money to take Hank out of the room. I don't know why he wouldn't escort Hank's body out in himself. I don't know why he's hiring somebody to do this. This is a really weird thing to do, considering he's drugged him and stabbed him with a giant needle. He's just gonna trust this fucking random housemaid to do this for him. I mean, he gives her like some money, but like how much? Yeah, this would be. You could demand a lot from him. You could be like, yeah, I'll do this for like $10,000.
Well,
You know?
it's Steph is nothing but, and I understand that, like, she is Canadian, and hey, I'm glad this show is actually doing your country service. Definitely not doing mine. But she is Canadian and all that. And I guess that's a good and important tie-in. But if you really break it down on a molecular level, them keeping Steph involved in the main plot is just an excuse for us to check in on how the vaults are doing.
Oh, I know.
That's really
Yeah,
it.
that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, like, who gives a shit what's happening in Vault 33 at this point?
Right.
There's no major characters there anymore. They're completely filled with nobodies. We got Betty in there, and then the guy who's obsessed with like his incest convention. That's about it. I mean,
Well,
even the fat, like, was it Woody, the fat guy?
he's dead.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah,
He's
he's
dead,
dead.
apparently.
Yeah, the only
So
person I care
he
about
was
is Blind Owl. I want to know when Blind Owl meets Deadpool.
Blind Owl.
That's it. That's all. That's all I care about. But no, it really is. Like, and I mean, Steph is. I guess she's a pretty complex character, and I do like her backstory. I think that's cool being a refugee from Canada and all that. But if you really just look at it for what it is, we're only exploring her story so they can keep the vaults because Norm's not down there anymore. So we don't know what the fuck is
Mhm.
going on down there. So she's just the excuse to keep showing all the other vaults.
Yeah, well, that's really true, but also, I had a really hard time. I mean, like I'm sure everyone does with the whole Vault plot line because we know so little about what's going on with with what Steph's trying to do and what their whole goal is now and what the point of their story is anymore. That it just doesn't really matter. Like there's this whole conspiracy with what Steph's trying to do and how she's tricking everybody, but everybody's so stupid and acts so dumb all the time. It just kind of goes over my head. Like I don't really care what she's doing because we
No.
don't know and there's no hints to really what's going on and she's evil, I guess, and she's fucking being weird all the time and
hates the
like
United
she's trying to
States.
manipulate this guy into marry. She hates the United States and she wants to marry the tall guy.
Chet.
But like she's being the worst manipulator ever. she's
If only
like,
there was
she's like, we're getting married tomorrow.
Well,
If
yeah,
only
why?
there was like some sort of useless incest plotline that could have been cut, so you can put all that time and effort into this one and make it more interesting.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
well.
that's What, you don't like the incest dance party thing? I thought that was really important.
Well, I don't like
I
the
was
part
so
where he spends a
funny.
minute on the piano and then it turns out it's a dream sequence and was completely pointless. No, I mean, I fucking love
Yeah.
that.
Which,
Oh yeah, I
which,
clapped. I clapped when I saw it.
like Chet too. Like I don't like that guy is massive. I don't know why he's sitting there and taking all this shit from her. Like he's being a simp.
Yeah.
He's being a
I
simp.
don't know why he's like that.
Yeah,
Like,
and he's being this stay-at-home dad and pretty much taking orders from her. She's forcing him to get married, and like I know they're trying to establish her as a threat, but they haven't established her as that kind of threat. There's nothing that she's done at this point that we've seen on screen in the vaults that would give me any evidence as to why Chet, who is a massive human being, would even be remotely scared of this person.
nah.
hmm Well, wouldn't it be better? Like, okay, let's just say, I don't know if you does this not sound better to you guys? What if Steph was being a great manipulator, right? What if she was really charismatic and really seduced, and you knew there was something wrong with her? There was like instances where you could see kind of behind the veil where she was being really creepy and really weird or really demanding, and she pushes him a little too far at times, but she's like there for him emotionally or something, and really wins him over and then wins over the vault dwellers as well. And then we get little hints as to what she's doing and what her goals are and what her intentions are with the other vault dwellers instead of this vague evil plan that's going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like if they just added a little bit more substance to the story, it'd be a lot more interesting. But we get so little from all of these characters and all these people. Like I don't care what's happening. I mean, I even as a Canadian, like Steph's like most interesting qualities that she's Canadian now. I don't care, Like, it's not that fascinating. It's not. I don't know her well enough. Again, her intentions are weird. So yeah, I think it's all kind of falling apart for that whole part of the show.
Yeah, there's a multitude of characters in here that they're trying to get us to care about, and I just don't. Like Thaddeus, don't care about him. Steph, like I said, I don't care. I care about Blind Al. I like Blind Al. And then of course Norm, which he kind of fell off. His whole plot line was pretty interesting when he was down there in Vault, what, 32, 31, one of the two. That was pretty interesting. But then now that he's up there on the surface, he's gotten the shit kicked out of him and all that, and it's like, what are we doing now? What are we doing?
Yeah, well, why didn't that guy kill um why didn't he kill Norm? Like he strangled him to the point of going unconscious. Why not just finish the job? Be like, he attacked me.
Well,
Like
to be fair, I mean, they're presented as people who are kind of strictly adhering to whatever Vault-Tec tells them to do.
Yeah.
So they, after knocking him out, they talk about, oh, what does the guidebook say about what to do about this? And yeah, I don't know. I can
well
kind
they
of
but the guy
sense
but the
that, but
guidebook says kill him. That's their first thing. Is like the guy's like, what's the guidebook saying? He's like, well, if you disobey Vault-Tec, you gotta die. That's the fucking guidebook. So you know what I mean? I don't know. Like it bothered me because it's like it would be fine if the guidebook was like, all right, well, we have to put him on trial or something and then kill him. Like there would be some kind of like loophole thing that like saves Norm from being murdered. But the
Mhm.
fact that like the guidebook tells them to kill anybody who disobeys Vault-Tec, it's like, well, then why not kill him? Like why this guy clearly doesn't like Norm. He's clearly like wanting power for himself. He wants him out of the way. He's willing to strangle him. So
Right.
just kill
Finish
him.
the job. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, of course he's, and then Norm sticks around. He wakes up after being strangled and hears he's gonna die, and he's like, "Wait, I got to make one last transmission to my sister, who I have no idea is alive or not, and it might be near a radio." Like, why does he take the time to fucking ask her all these questions about? He's like, "Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you warn us about what was in the vault?" It's like, what do you mean? Like, what? She didn't know. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he asking her anything?
I don't know. Like I say, it's just
Uh,
we've got characters in play now, and still and plot lines too. Like next week is the finale of season 2. There is no
mhm.
yeah.
more after that, and we still have a lot of stuff in play that I'm not sure they can tie up in a tidy way.
No, they won't. There's gonna be like, it's gonna lead into season 3, then like they're gonna have a bunch of cliffhangers is what's gonna happen. For storylines, we do not give a fuck about like Vault 33. There's gonna be a whole thing there. I don't understand or care to see more of.
You shut up. I love Blind Al.
Okay, so before we get too far off track here, so we get back to the story. So Cooper is meeting with, oh man, I don't know her name. He's meeting with some government chick. We've seen her a bunch of times. She's like an American loyalist or something. Clearly, she's part of the Enclave
Mm-hmm.
or some kind of Vault-Tec conspiracy. She offers to get Cooper in touch with the president so he can give the president cold fusion directly. And Cooper thinks this will save the world. He's like, this will fix everything.
Which is,
Um,
which I'll say this about I'm just going to call her the senator. She is one of two things. She is either A, an absolutely horrible fucking actress that never deserves to get another shot at being in TV or film ever again, or B, she's the most brilliant actress in this whole show because they just told her to be, hey, we need you to be as wooden and non-emotional as possible, and she's nailing it. Because every time she's on screen, I'm like, dude, could you like crack a smile or like move an eyebrow or something? Like it's just she's so wooden.
yeah. I think she's supposed to be like really unassuming because
Yeah,
obviously
I
it's all
think
leading to the. I mean, even yeah. Sorry.
yeah, that's how I have a feeling that's how her character was written. But still, it's like God, this is horrible and horrible and dry to watch.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like she has that whole speech at the memorial thing
Mhm.
where she like talks like this. Like, she's very dry and boring. But yeah, I think that's her character. I mean, they're going for this very obvious twist where she's going to turn out to be, on the wrong side. The president's going to be bad. And Cooper is essentially responsible for the end of the world. I think that's the kind of joke here where he's made all the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
And it's because he's a fucking idiot. It's a sad. I like so much of the show. Like everybody's so dumb, and I said this the last time, but if you look at it like a madcap comedy, like compared to like Pineapple Express or something, where all the characters are failing upwards all the time, everything relies on their incompetency, and they just get through their existences by sheer luck or weird circumstances. It's a comedy, that's this whole show.
Right.
Cooper is the dumbest motherfucker that's ever lived. He thinks that he first of all cannot um you know tell that like, or I don't know, the fact that he's just like, I'm gonna give this super valuable weapon to the first guy I kind of like come around to, like he has no way of trying to sift out any of the real bad guys in the situation. He doesn't think that the American government would be in on like the conspiracy to blow
Right.
up the planet for some reason. Yeah, like he doesn't think about any of this stuff. He's like, I'm just gonna give it right to the president. I don't know, like why not?
Well,
And
can we
it's like,
get
well,
can we get any good aspect of the United States in this show? Apparently, capitalism is fucking bad. All the companies are fucking bad. The senator's bad. The president's bad. Like, is there anything like positive about the United States at this point in time?
no, it sucks. Yeah,
Right.
it's China's great though. Hey, the communists, maybe Cooper was fighting on the wrong side.
He could have been. Yeah.
That's what they keep saying. Oh man. All right, so we cut back. We already talked about this, but we cut back to the Ghoul and Maximus hanging out. What do you think of this relationship? I mean, it was inevitable that these characters would meet up at some point, but there seems to be a bromance forming between them this episode. Do you guys feel like any kind of, I don't know, heartfeltness between these two main
I'm
characters?
on the one hand, it's like Maximus's entire character outside of the Brotherhood is basically, oh, he likes Lucy and he wants to help her. So for his side of the conversation, I'm not really that caring about it. I mean, he's just doing what he's done since the first season. But I do like how it's reflected with the Ghoul. Like he says, I want to give this to Lucy because she's a good person, and the Ghoul just kind of smiles and puts his gun down. I do. I think they could have focused on it more, but I do like this dynamic of Cooper tried to do the right thing. Based on everything that we see here, his good intentions accidentally ended the world, and then his family was taken from him, and he's just focused solely on pursuing that, regardless of morals. And then over the course of his journey with her, he's started to do small little actions that, they're more morally righteous because of Lucy's worldview reminding him of who he used to be, like with like blowing up the NCR camps and stuff. Not the NCR camps, the Legion camps. Overall, I like his aspect of it. Maximus, I just do not vibe with at all because it's just the same shit that we've been seeing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I ought to love Maximus being a BOS fanboy. He's my most hated character. I can't stand him. I don't like any of his characterizations. I don't like how his morals swing from left to right. And kind of how he views the BOS and just as him as a person. I just don't like it. I do like what you said about the Ghoul because Offended and I talked a couple episodes back, and I was talking about how the Ghoul is the closest thing to a manifestation of a Fallout player that we have in the show. All of us have been in his shoes before, and all of us have made the exact same decisions that he has. I don't think like what was the joke that I said, Offended? I don't think I've ever seen someone do a Lucy playthrough on Fallout. Like she's just not a realistic character in this world. She isn't. The Ghoul is. I think that he kind of goes back and forth between being morally good and then morally bad. And I think this whole thing of turning Cold Fusion over back to House is a path of redemption for him. I think he knows he fucked up by giving it to the wrong person, and he's trying to make a wrong right. The little detail I'm concerned with is that if you notice when he's talking to Thaddeus, and seeing what's going, what he's going through as far as the ghoulification, something big is going to happen to Thaddeus. Because if you look at how the ghoul looks at him, it's not good. He knows what's happening to him. It's just we don't. So I don't know if you guys picked
Mm.
up on that or not when they were having their little conversations. Cooper was kind of like, "The fuck," and was looking
Yeah,
at him weird.
he's definitely looking at him in a kind of, oh, he's turning into that kind of vibe to him. Which, I don't mind. Maybe he just doesn't want to panic Thaddeus, because if he is gonna turn into a centaur, then it's probably not best to reveal that to him, because yeah, those things are fucking disgusting. But yeah, I don't know if he ends up turning into something we've never seen before. I think that'll be a bit of a fucking annoying cop out. But if it's something like that, then yeah, overall, I don't mind that aspect of him slowly realizing the person's becoming a liability and soon to be a threat. So he might have to take him out at some point. I don't know. I'm more annoyed later when they're about to storm the strip, but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah, we're coming up on that right now because we already preemptively discussed the vault plot lines, which was the majority of
Yeah,
scenes
fair enough.
between these these 2 points here. So yeah, let's talk about the storming the strip bit. So we see Thaddeus, Maximus, and the ghouls show up. And everyone's cheering. Everyone's super happy to see the NCR is back. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, the NCR!" And fucking the ghouls like brand recognition. Am I right or whatever? Yeah, I don't like this at all because fucking people did not like the NCR in Freeside. That was a whole fucking part of the story. Nobody liked them. There was a whole thing about abusing NCR citizens. For example, the Kings were really rough on them, and you have to negotiate this peace between Freeside and the NCR. Like they're not like natural allies. So the NCR
Yeah,
showing up
I
here
get
was
where you're
kind of.
coming from. I don't know. I guess in the context of the show, from what we've seen, even though Freeside is standing, the ghouls, not the ghouls, sorry, the kings have been turned into ghouls, and they don't seem to be a police force anymore. And we see when Lucy tries to go shopping that people will literally just wander into stores, kill the owners, and then take over.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when you've got such kind of lawlessness, and on the inside there's death claws, and if you try and leave you've got the horrors of the wasteland. I could kind of understand when you have kind of like a monument to an organization that ultimately did like kind of fight the horrors of the wasteland and try and bring peace. I can understand why they might cheer for seeing that power armor. Yeah, if it, like I say, they're not really trying to canonize anything, so we don't know how they would feel depending on which ending. So ultimately, it's just in a vacuum where they're kind of
Mm.
fucked on both sides, and then something they recognize is coming in, apparently trying to save them, so they're just kind of gonna rally around it. Yeah, I agree that it's not the best way to write this, but just gotta work with what you've got to work with. So overall, I'm fine with it. It does come across as a bit of a juxtaposition if you play the game and then watch the show, but overall, as its own thing, it's okay for me.
I'm with.
Yeah, well, I think they.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
All right.
So I was gonna say, essentially, they have they've ripped the spine out of Freeside so much and left any kind of recognizable identity to it that like having a generic crowd cheer for the NCR would just make sense in the context of the show because they're all so fucked.
Yeah.
I I I agree. I think it's a sad state of affairs for the lore of the world that this is where we're at. I can see where you're coming from, though.
Yeah, I'm actually with Lumar on that one as well, but I need to course correct you on this, offended, because I noticed that you're not mentioning it and you need to mention it. Okay, so anytime you're talking about the ghoul and him walking in anywhere or doing anything actionable, you need to lead with, so women are lamenting, That's happening in the
Oh
background
yeah.
because every time he is fucking
Yeah.
on screen, we have to hear that sound, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm getting like Witcher flashbacks of that fucking like, it is just
Oh, I
horrible.
know. Ay, 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 ay,
It's
ay, ay.
every time, and it's like we can stop
Every
this
time.
nonsense.
Yeah, fucking the ghoul grabs like a fucking drink off the counter. Ay, 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 ay. Like it's like Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, it does. It happens legitimately if he like fucking turns and gets out of his chair. It's like the fucking the lamenting happens. It's so fucking irritating. It's every 3 seconds, yeah. Yeah, but then we get Thaddeus's arm falling off. And this is supposed to be funny and not at all really painful. Like the fact, just Thaddeus underreacting to the fact that his arm's falling off. This would be an existential fucking crisis for anybody, right? Like you're losing one of your appendages. This is like major. Like this,
Yeah, this
especially
is
in the
normal for us
wasteland.
ghouls, isn't it? Well, clearly not,
Yeah.
because you're stood looking at one who has both of his arms attached. So, also, you
Yeah,
had
exactly.
ghoul kids. You were running ghoul kids in charge of, you were in charge of a factory full of ghoul kids. They had both their arms.
Yeah, I mean,
I
like
hate his
ghouls are
character.
pretty common. The ghouls
Yeah.
are like fairly common in this universe. Like they're not. Like people are really aware of ghoul biology, I think. Like, they know about them, they know how they work, they understand what the ghoulification looks like. Yeah, it's just fucking dumb.
That is
Uh,
dumb, but the thing that annoyed me the most is apparently their plan involved having a sniper on the roof, I guess, to kind of lay supporting fire or maybe be a distraction. And then because of Thaddeus, they can't do that. But you've just had this crowd of people cheering them on who seem to actually want to help, like, with them. And if they're just going on a roof in Freeside and shooting at them, like surely you would ask one of this crowd of hundreds of people, does anyone just want to like go on the roof and just like snipe them a little bit while we do the main work? But no, they just see that he's useless, they leave him behind, and they just go on with one of their key components now missing.
yeah, well, what about the fact that the fact that the Freeside, whole town has not evacuated to me is kind of stupid. Like we see how dangerous death claws are
Well,
throughout the series.
I was going
You're
to
you're
talk
gonna
about
get
that
okay.
during the fight scene because there's a particular thing that happens that just highlights how fucking stupid it was to have a thin metal door with a padlock on it, keeping the death claws out.
Oh yeah, no, I well, we'll we'll get to it in a second. Then I'll put a pin in it because I hated this whole fucking Deathclaw thing right from the get go. I think I feel bad for Toller. I like really ranted about how much I hated the Deathclaws in the episode they appeared. I mean, okay, so also Toller, you also mentioned that they're blind Deathclaws. I don't think they are blind.
Hey, no, no, hey,
Uh,
hey. I didn't say I believed it. I said people in
no,
my comment section were saying they might be blind death claws. And I'm like, well, that would make
yeah,
a little
yes,
more sense.
yeah. No, yeah, no, I think we discussed at length whether they're blind or not. I don't think they are. I'm just confirming. I'm not saying you were advocating it, but
Mm.
that made more sense at the time. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. I think they can see. So that makes the scene where Lucy and the ghoul run from the death claws previously even worse because there's this whole bit where they're like, oh my god, the most dangerous threat in the wasteland. It's right in front of us. There's three of them now. Oh my god, we're just gonna hide behind this car, even though the three death claws have looked at us at this point, and then run away.
They pretty much
And it's
throw a
like,
chew toy, a grenade, but they throw a chew toy and the fucking
yeah.
death claws run after it.
And then fucking Lucy's like, well, we got to get back in there. And the ghoul's like, oh, we can't sneak past them. Or one of them says it anyway. And it's like, yes, you can. You can obviously sneak right. You can be right beside them. They won't know you're there. So,
Well, I mean, the
that pissed
power
me off.
scaling, and this leads into the fight that we're getting ready to, which is the next scene. Fucking the power scaling on these things is kind of stupid too. Like, you have Maximus, who is nowhere near as experienced of a knight as like was say Titus. And Titus, obviously, I always fuck up the pronunciation of it because I'm Southern and nobody's gonna make fun of me. The mutated bears. Knight Titus had a really tough time beating up a mutated bear. But then Maximus is out there
Yagwai.
fucking going toe to toe with a death claw, and it's like, wait, where'd you learn how to do this?
Oh, okay. Well, let's get into it. So Maximus has got two blades on his power armor, and he's gonna face off against the Deathclaw here. So I don't love their plan. I mean, it's not terrible. I understand what they're doing. Like Maximus is supposed to kind of carve a way for the ghoul to get inside, but he defeats the Deathclaw, and there's a clear opportunity for Maximus to get inside with the ghoul and not have to deal with this at all. And then he just doesn't. Like we're going on the assumption that they're there to maybe wake up Mr. House or something, or get some allies. Don't leave Maximus alone here. He could very well die. Like, why isn't the ghoul shooting the fucking Deathclaws at all? Like, he has many opportunities to give Maximus a hand here, and he's got a gun that really fucks up the Deathclaws. Like, it's like one approaches him, he shoots it like 3 times, it's taken off big chunks, and again the Deathclaw isn't jumping at him. It just slowly walks towards him, because if it fucking did anything within character, he would be fucking dead.
Hey, look, that
But
death
of
claw
course it
was
doesn't.
aura farming, okay?
It was aura
That's what
farming,
the
yeah.
young
It was
whippersnappers are
fucking
saying.
yeah. Yeah. Well, so the maybe blind Deathclaw gets his fucking head cut off, and then 4 more show up here and kick Maximus's ass, where he gets thrown out of the small chain fence. So Lumar, what was your beef here? What do you want to get into?
Well, I mean, so Death Claws apparently have enough force to lift power armor, which we saw in episode 2. It takes 6 people just to drag it across the floor, just to move it. So they have enough strength to lift a suit of power armor and send it flying like several, like quite a distance, with enough force to smash through the gate. So would they not just have enough force to smash through the gate anyways?
Yeah, well, I said this back in our review of, again, with the episode with Lucy and the ghoul escaping, but it's very clear that they could get over that gate really quickly or smash through it, as you said. Like, the fact that there's these death claws in the strip, and they're cannibalizing each other. They're clearly hungry. Like we see when Maximus and the ghouls show up here, like they're eating a dead death claw. So there's a whole town of people here ready to be consumed, and they're not doing it for some reason. Like, even though like it's a loud town, like there's commotion, there's people walking around, there's no effort to be quiet. Like there's guns being shot, like people are living their natural, like normal lives. And nobody's even made a move to evacuate. Right? Like
Nope.
we see in New Vegas, like Quarry Junction is cut off, and the main way to get to New Vegas is like essentially impossible for most people because the death claws are in the way.
I still have nightmares of Quarry
So
Junction.
yeah, exactly. So but now fucking death claws are inhabiting the strip, and nobody's saying anything about it. Like, you wouldn't even know that they were there. Like
Well, on top
nobody's
of that, Maximus gets sent through the gate, and instead of going, oh fuck, the gate that's keeping the fucking death machines inside the strip is now being broken, they all just crowd around and look at him for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, get your guns out and start shooting the fucking Deathclaws. That would be what everyone would do until the
Yeah.
Deathclaw ultimately killed everybody in the town, because that would be lore accurate, but of course they don't do
Fight
that.
or run, don't just like stand around looking at the guy on the floor while the fucking gate right next to you is open.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so fucking
Like-
dumb.
like-
Okay, and again, to put a pin in the fact that whether these are fucking blind or not, I think this, if they are blind, the show should fucking say that they're blind. They
Well,
should
it
be
doesn't
like,
really matter. They've got like super smell and super hearing. Like,
yeah,
Death
exactly.
Claws are the apex predators of the Fallout universe for a reason. Because even if they're blind, they'll still fucking sense you and slaughter you. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
with this scene, I just don't like the power scaling that's going on. I mean, we've seen the death claws neutered, right? Like you were just talking about, like, why didn't they jump over the gate? Why didn't they just bust through the gate? But then the show has to establish just how strong they are. So they have Cooper shoot them with that fucking rifle 3 times. They tank all 3 shots. And you're like, okay, so obviously these things are pretty fucking strong. And then they have Maximus come out of nowhere and just chop one's head off. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what is the show trying to tell us here? Like, are Death Claws just like this dumbed down, or is Maximus that powerful? And if so, how the fuck did he get there? Like, he's not
Mm-hmm.
experienced enough for this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, this whole fight's fucking retarded, and it doesn't make any sense that the fucking death claws are there. It doesn't make any sense that the people of Freeside haven't dealt with them yet or have run away. It doesn't make any sense that the fucking death claws don't kill the fucking ghoul immediately. Like, it's all just so fucking dumb.
Something in the Fallout show doesn't make sense? No.
What?
To be sure.
All right, so the ghoul gets up to the Lucky 38 and he puts fucking cold fusion in the little fucking spot in the ball, whatever. And we get we're doing a little bit of cut back and forth here because this is the end of the episode. So we see uh Cooper's given the cold fusion to the president, and then we see him give it to Mr. House in the present time period. And like you said, Toller, this is clearly like a retribution, a bit of a comeback around for his
Mm-hmm.
character. He's now fixing things,
Yeah, I like that
and it's
aspect. I do.
symbolic. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. So yeah, and then Lucy finds out that the decapitated head of the senator is running the whole brainwashing vault thing. That's the big reveal, I guess. So I don't know where they're going with that one,
I don't
but
fucking
what do you
care.
guys think?
This shit's stupid.
Yeah,
I don't fucking care.
I don't really. Yeah, I don't really care either.
I'm still concerned of how the hell they got away with all this. Like, you have all this, like, I can't stress this enough. This is a massive headquarters that is still in pristine condition to the point that there are operational vehicles. They apparently have all this technology, all this research and development. And on top of that, they have a manufacturing site where they can reproduce said technology and all of that. And now apparently they have this massive brainwave system thing and the capability to control other people. And this has never appeared anywhere else except for the show. It's never mentioned in the game. It's never alluded to in the game. You don't even run by a little text log. Nothing. This is something that's made completely for the show. And I don't know. It doesn't make it like this would be a big fucking deal, and
Mm.
it's just not. To me, it's bewildering. I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, the fact that Mr. House had access and had created the technology to brainwash people to do what he wanted and never used it, it doesn't make any sense, especially considering the courier and like the courier is hired in the game because he's the most like, or he or she, sorry, is the most practical person in the wasteland and the most capable
Right.
to do what Mr. House wants. But in 3 out of the 4 endings, they do not do what Mr. House wants. So why wouldn't his goal be to fucking brainwash the courier into doing what he wanted? Or anybody, right? Like, you could do it to the entire wasteland. You could get you could do it to Caesar, right? You just get a guy to get to Caesar and you put the little thing on the back of his head. Boom, he's your fucking slave.
Yep.
Well, even this whole the way they're manufacturing, I'm gonna call it the brain box. They're manufacturing the brain box. Even that's a contradiction of the lore because we know Vault-Tec has done some nasty shit. They have done some really nasty experiments throughout all the games. You can find something, text logs, get into a vault, etc., etc. But all those experiments were self-contained within the vault, so they were on a very small scale. Vault-Tec has never in any of the Fallout games been involved in a big global scheme like that. And so I find like
Yeah.
just House, I get it. Vault-Tec, no, not once.
No, I agree. I don't think I don't enjoy Vault-Tec being such a prominent faction in the show. Like especially in New Vegas, like you really see, like you said before, like Vault-Tec's they have a presence. They're around. Like the vaults are there, but they're all destroyed and wiped out. Like the Obsidian made a real effort to get away from vaults and Vault-Tec as like as a lore device. Like they're there. Like it's not like they ignore them, but they're trying to move on. They're trying to evolve the story a bit, and they do this with the Brotherhood of Steel as well. They're trying to show like the wasteland grows and changes, and things get beyond the old factions that have like upheld the series before. So to like make Vault-Tec just the go-to baddie for all of this stuff just makes me fucking feel like
Yeah.
it's such a shallow pool we're swimming in now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, so we get that reveal. Then we find out the president's the bad guy. It's probably the Enclave, and we see Mr. House wakes up and he says,
Hello, old
welcome
chum.
back, old chum. Hello, old chum. Which I fucking hate, by the way. Fucking Mr. House doesn't talk like that. He never calls anybody old
Nope.
chum. He does not talk like that. He's not fucking chummy. He's not Willy Wonka. He's
He's
fucking
not
like a
Megamind.
really. He's not Megamind. He's like a fucking cold dude. He doesn't smile. He's really fucking anesthetic or really fucking cold. He doesn't have any like fun little gestures or cute little quirks. He's like a fucking like mastermind overbearing dude. I hate their interpretation of the character. Toller, I know you like him, but ugh, it gets under my
No,
skin.
no. I said I liked one specific scene, is what I said, and I said
Okay.
I like Justin Theroux's performance. I haven't liked him for most of the show, but the scene between him and Cooper, when you were talking about it, seemed like Cooper's looking down on him, et cetera, and it wasn't the way. I argued that I think he was being more cerebral than anything, and I liked that specific scene. As a whole, not a fan of the character. I'm a fan of the performance. I think Justin Theroux's fantastic. I think the direction he was given was shit. But on the
Hmm.
the note of Mr. House, is it actually Mr. House? Is he alive or is it an AI?
Oh, fuck, I don't care. Yeah. I mean, like, whatever they do at this point, it's garbage. Like, the show from its inception, it's been flawed. The whole canonization of the show, I think, ruins it because it's just, you're gonna have to compare it to the games. And they
Yeah.
ultimately are not as smart as the game writers, right? Like, the guys, especially Obsidian, man. Like the guys who made Fallout New Vegas were fucking on their A game. They had a year and a half, I think, 2 years to
Yep.
make Fallout. Yeah, Fallout New Vegas. They made it in that time. They created a beautiful story, real attention to the lore, great characters. The fucking dialogue is perfect. And then, these guys just can't compare. So anything they do is just going to be a shadow at best of what came before it. So yeah, this is just another disappointment. This is truly The Last of Us season 2 to The Last of Us. It is a comparable disappointment. I think like it is as much of a slap in the face. This is Game of Thrones season 8,
See,
right? Like this is
I disagree with you.
Stranger Things. What?
I disagree with you. This is not comparable to The Last of Us because at least this show has a good game to compare it to. The Last of Us season 2
Fair enough.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. That's all right. That's a better comparison. But yeah, so that's the end of the episode. We have one left before the season's finally wrapped up, and I'm sure there are many more disappointments to come. You guys have any final thoughts on this episode?
Well, I'll pose a question to kind of close it out on here. So we're going into the finale. What is one thing like you want the show to figure? Like, what's the one lingering question that you gotta have answered? Lumar, you go ahead and start.
Um, I just probably I just have to know like how New Vegas became as it is. Like the fact that that's the main premise, that it doesn't matter what you did in the game, everything's just fucked. Like that's what I need answered, I think, because that's if they don't answer that, that's fucking dreadful. That they would just ruin a fuck. At least with Shady Sands, we know why it like got destroyed, even if it's a slap in the face. This this would be worse if they don't reveal how things got so fucked in New Vegas, I think.
Okay. What about you,
Mhm.
offended?
How many times do I need to pull the trigger before I lose this game of Russian roulette? That'd be my question. Because I fucking hate the show. I actually, I don't want to cop out here, but I don't think I care enough to have a question nothing's really bothering me. I think my biggest question is like genuinely how much more do I need to cringe at everything they're doing? Because it's just constantly like, what? Come on, what? That's what they're really? What? Like it's just constant fucking, just beating me down into the dirt. So yeah, I think they've completely stripped any curiosity, any interest I have for the show at this point. I'm just hate watching it because I have enough passion for it, the series as a whole, to push me through to the end, and I want to review it and talk about it. But if I wasn't here for you guys and the channel, I think I would have dropped out a long time ago, probably with most of the audience at this point. So yeah, I don't want to cop out, man, but yeah, that's where I'm at. How about you though?
Well, for me, like even if I completely hate a piece of in quotation marks entertainment, I can find someone or something to attach to, right? Last for season two, you know how vocal I was against that, but I always reserved that I liked Isabella Merced, however you say her fucking last name. That she had a great performance, in that season. Walton Goggins is important to me in this show because he absolutely fucking carries it. And because he carries it, I care about his character. The question I want answered is why in the fuck is he a ghoul, but his wife and kid are locked up in a cryopod? What happened?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is to be fair, that is a good question.
Yeah, because we
Yeah,
see
I
we
man,
see episode one of season one. We see when the bombs start dropping, when they're at that party or whatever the fuck. The bombs start dropping. His daughter is with him in that episode
mhm.
when the bombs start dropping. So what happened in between there? That his wife told him to fuck off. Like I'm just curious as to how he got, because that's going to cause a domino effect here. Because if, like, say for instance she's pissed off at him, they don't have room, or she's like, go fuck yourself, you're not getting in here, then why is he trying to find them? So I feel like it's gonna, if we see what happened in that sequence, it's gonna answer some questions.
I think that probably won't be answered till season three, I imagine, unless we get like a big flashback. I feel like that's gonna be a cliffhanger. I don't know. And Lumar, I don't think they're gonna tell us what happened in New Vegas. I think they're gonna leave that a complete blank. Just from interviews I've seen with these guys, especially the one we're gonna reference in our next podcast together. It's yeah, I think they have a rule where they're not allowed to officially canonize the ending, and I think we're just gonna have to accept it as it is, which kind of makes me curious what this is like watching the show for a non-player. Like, I, like New Vegas must feel completely dead. You know what I mean? Like, or like not that interesting because like all the lore around it, all they've built it up to be, like it's just a shithole town. It's not like without the context of what's gone on before this, right? Like I
Right.
imagine you've gone in completely fresh, right? You've watched season one, you liked
Well,
it.
that's what
Now
my
you're
girl's
watching
doing.
season two. Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
tell me, what does she think of New Vegas?
I mean, what the thing is she has me in the back seat, and I'm telling her these things. She still enjoys the show for it being the show. Like, we actually look forward to watching it together because it's something like because of this show and its presence at Halloween Horror Nights this past September. She actually played Fallout for the first time. Actually, as I'm currently speaking, she's playing Fallout 4 in the living room. I can hear it because everything shit's blowing up. So she's enjoying the show, but she also understands the sentiment that, like, of the games. She actually wants to play New Vegas to kind of contrast and see what they did wrong and what they did right, et cetera, et cetera. So for like a casual audience member, I don't think anybody, if you're casual, you haven't played the games, you're just watching the show, it's an excellent show. I've seen that from my comment section. I've seen that from all my polls. People who know nothing about the fucking games love the show. It's the people who have played the games that are the biggest folks who are pushing back.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I guess anything else, guys?
No.
No.
No, feeling good. Okay, well, if you're still listening to us complain and bitch at this point, I really appreciate you for listening, guys. And we'll get to the finale in the next episode of this podcast. So, like always, thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you on the next one.
They'll take care.